We can always make more money, but we cannot make more time. So time is our most valuable resource. And managing a calendar is no different because that can take a lot of your time. The truth is that not everything goes according to plan. There might be something urgent that comes up. There might be a fire to put out. My team needs me. There's a meeting that took longer. Whatever it is, chances are that you're not going to be able to follow everything on your calendar exactly to a T. So in this episode, I will share with you the lessons that I learned and the strategies that I use every day to streamline my work and to manage my calendar the right way. How to manage a calendar, how to take care of tricky situations, what happens if you have two overlapping appointments that are all super important and they both require your presence. What happens then? Over the last years, I've experimented with dozens of strategies to manage my time better. We can always make more money, but we cannot make more time. So time is our most valuable resource. If you follow me, you know that I'm all about delegating responsibilities to virtual assistants so that I can free up my time to do more important tasks and more important projects. And managing a calendar is no different because that can take a lot of your time and a lot of unnecessary time which can easily be done by someone else. So in this episode, I will share with you the lessons that I learned and the strategies that I use every day to streamline my work and to manage my calendar the right way. And in fact, this is exactly what I teach other executive assistants, so they will provide a good service for you as well. So if you have somebody on the team who is an executive assistant who's helping manage the calendar for you, make sure to share this episode with them because they will find a lot of good information here. Let's go. So the number one thing that I learned is don't schedule work tasks first. Schedule personal things first. Schedule the non-negotiables first. That is your anniversaries, when kids are home from school, your vacations, anything that is fixed that has to be done, schedule that first on the calendar. Because you know what they say, show me your calendar and I'll tell you your priorities. And if I see work, and no time for life, no time for personal, then some aspect of that relationship will have to suffer. In fact, actually, that reminds me of one of the companies that came to work with us, and they said that they had an executive assistant and they had to let him go because he missed that important thing. He scheduled important meetings on the calendar on the date of his anniversary. And the client said, well, you know what, I'm happy that I got to close those deals because they're important clients, but it affected my relationship with my wife, and that's even more important. So when we train executive assistants, we always say, get on the same page with your executive, understand what are the non-negotiables, what are some things that they have to be on the calendar and there's no flexibility there, and schedule them first, and then schedule the meetings and everything else around that time. Okay, number 2. Your meetings don't have to be 1 hour long. Can they be done in 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes? If so, you don't need a whole hour. And you probably heard of the Parkinson's law. It says that work expands to fill the time allotted for it. So if you give yourself 1 hour for the meeting, you will be spending a whole hour on that meeting. You will drag it for a whole hour. But if you only have 30 minutes allotted for that, you'll be spending 30 minutes only. In fact, when you go to a meeting, let people know how much time you have in advance so they also know how to prepare and they also get to the point, make the conversation more focused, more concise, and again, to the point, right? Exactly what you booked that meeting for. And also, very important, give yourself some buffer time before and after each meeting, especially if it's an important meeting. Even for this one right here, I'm filming this podcast episode and I put this on my calendar. I have this time blocked specifically for when I do my filming, and I leave a little bit of buffer time before and after. Before, I need to set up the studio. I need to go over my notes. I need to refresh my memory what I'm going to talk about. And after, it's all, taking out the studio or cleaning up, or maybe the meeting will take longer, or if I want to redo it, whatever the situation might be, I give myself a little bit of buffer time to go over that information just to have peace of mind and I'm not rushed to the next thing on my calendar. The third thing that I learned is block time for miscellaneous things. If you are like me, which I like to be busy, and sometimes I have things booked back to my appointment, the truth is that not everything goes according to plan. There might be something urgent that comes up. There might be a fire to put out. My team needs me. There's a meeting that took longer. Whatever it is, chances are that you're not going to be able to follow everything on your calendar exactly to a T. So what I do in that case, I'm blocking 1 hour when it's just flexible time of really doing nothing. And I use that time to catch up on work that I haven't been able to do in the time allotted for that. So that is very, very helpful. And let's say maybe you were super organized, you got everything done, and you just have that 1 hour of doing nothing. Well, you can read something, you can relax, you can do something else, or you can get started on tomorrow's work. But it's so much better to have the time and not have anything to do rather than not have any free time to take care of the things on your calendar. Number 4, again, this was a big lesson learned for me. I actually like all of these points, and I could tell a story about how I learned each one of them. But this number 4 is schedule a time when you check your email and DMs. Email, DMs, these are a time sucker. And you know what they say, like once you get a notification of a DM or an email that came up and you quickly go and check what's happening, you need about 20 to 30 minutes to get back in your creative flow. And these are 20, 30 minutes that add up during the day. This is lost productivity time that could transform into hours during the day. So what I do is I check my calendar at 3 p.m. Why 3 p.m.? I used to do it in the morning at 10 a.m., but then I changed it recently because mornings are my prime time. This is the time when I focus best, when I take my best decisions, when I work on needle moving activities and so on. And I'm trying to keep my focus intact and not be distracted by anything else. In the afternoon, what's happening? I feel the afternoon slump when my energy is lower, my brain is not functioning that well anymore. So this is when I check my email, this is when I respond to DMs because it doesn't take a lot of my brain capacity at that time. Now, why I'm saying this because you might have a different prime time than I do. So if you work great in the afternoon, maybe it would make sense for you to check your email first thing in the morning or your DMs first in the morning. But in any case, protect your prime time because as a CEO, this is the most important activity that you need to do for your business. And if you're in a type of business where you constantly have to check your emails, you constantly have to check your DMs, then hire a virtual assistant to do so. Hire someone who will only be responsible for that so that you don't do it. Because if you spend time doing routine tasks or little tasks or things that distract your attention, then you are not focusing on getting your business to the next level. You're just reactive to what's happening in the company, but not proactive. So you get the idea. Let's get to the next one. Number 5 is work in batches. I also put this on my calendar. I have a time when I check my emails. When I check my emails, I do everything, all the emails in 1 hour. I don't respond to one email and then come back and do something else. This is kind of like, when you're cleaning the house, it's like you wouldn't do one dish and then you fold a piece of laundry. Then you wash another dish, then you fold another piece of laundry. Man, that's a tongue twister. Okay? You wouldn't do that. That's not efficient. That's why you gotta work in batches. You finish the dishes. When you're done, you move to laundry. It's the same thing here. Don't check one email and then do this and then do this and then go back to emails. Work in batches. Allocate time when you want to do the emails. It's 1 hour, it's 2 hours, whatever it is, get them all done. Follow-ups, the same thing. Find time on your calendar when all you do is follow-ups. Talking to vendors, that's a batch. Email, follow-ups, whatever needs to be done, work smarter by putting all these things together. They're very similar. Number 6, and this is the best kept secret, delegate. Delegate to a virtual assistant. There are so many things that can happen when you manage a calendar. You have an important meeting, but then someone has to reschedule. Someone's not available at that date. You gotta find a different time. You are being pulled in a million directions on top of everything else that you have going on in your business. Why not let and trust a virtual assistant to do that? They can reschedule, they can talk to the vendors, they can talk to the invitees, whoever that is. They can find a better time for you. They can make sure everything is prioritized. They can let you know when you have the next important meeting. They can help you prepare for that and so on. They can make sure there's no double bookings, no overlap, and a lot more. So this is a very, very important thing. And in fact, we have a course and a training program that teaches executive assistants exactly how to do this, how to manage a calendar, how to take care of tricky situations. What happens if you have 2 overlapping appointments that are all super important and they both require your presence? What happens then? So we go through all of these scenarios with executive assistants, and there's also a course here. I will leave the link here if anyone's interested. But it is so important to have that peace of mind and have that clarity to have a successful business. And think about how important is outsourcing? How much is your time worth? Is it worth more than $6 to $10 an hour? Because if so, you should be delegating this task to a virtual assistant. If you think you'd rather spend that time bringing more money in the company than $6 to $10 an hour, then outsourcing is a no-brainer. There are amazing virtual assistants who can take care of this responsibility for you so you can focus on generating more revenue for your company. So these are the 7 strategies that I use every day to manage my calendar right. Let me know what else you would add. Let me know in the comments which one is your favorite, which one you want to implement, or what else you're using. I'll be happy to hear from you, and I'll see you next week. Bye.